Alright guys, what if I could show you a way where you could make it so the bases on your server could only be rated between a certain time and a certain time? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do, so stay tuned, check it out. Hey guys, welcome back to Rust Admin Academy, where I teach you guys the very best tips and tricks to owning and operating a Rust server. On this channel, I do a lot of plugin reviews and tutorials to try and show you some of the pitfalls and traps that you might fall into as you're setting up your servers. So if you're brand new to the channel, consider subscribing so that you stay up to date on everything that we're working on. If you'd like to join my Discord, I have just about 900 members in there that are all capable and willing to help you out if you run into anything that you can't solve on your own. Link up above my head right now. Link in the video description down below as well. If you'd like to throw some support towards the channel, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/srtbull. If you become a member of my Patreon, it comes with special Discord permissions and roles and different abilities that you can use in my Discord. Another one of the perks of becoming a Patreon, you get your name displayed as a show of my appreciation for your support towards my channel. As you can see on the right hand side of the screen right now, this is my current list of Patreons. A huge shout out goes to each and every one of you. I super appreciate everything that you've done to help support my channel. So thank you. All right, so today I'm going to be showing you how you can make it so that your bases on your servers, not your bases, but your players' bases, can only be rated during certain hours. Now, why is that helpful? There's a multitude of different reasons why you might want to do this, but one of the biggest ones is when you're first starting out your server, your population isn't exactly flourishing. So you might only have 5-10 regular players that come onto your server. Well, the last thing that you want is for your small group of regulars to get raided every night because of, time zones and different places in the world and stuff like that. When your players are going to sleep, there are players around the world that are just getting up and just getting started their Rust day. So the plugin that I'm talking about today is called LocalTimeDamageControl, and you can get it on the Umod website. I'll put a link to it in the video description down below so that you can get to it quickly, or you can search for it on the Umod website. So I'm going to go ahead and install this plugin. If you've never installed a Umod plugin before, make sure you check out the video that I'm going to put up in the right hand corner right now. It shows you how to install a Umod plugin and what to expect while you're doing that. But make sure you come back to this video so that we can finish up with Local Time Damage Controller. All right, so now that we have the plugin installed, as you can see by my console that I'm showing you here, provided to me by icedhost.com, you can see that the plugin installed and compiled correctly. It also comes with a couple of default settings, which we are going to go in and have a look at, but just so that you know that it is going to display something in your console telling you when the actual protection time starts and how long it's going to last for. So as you can see here, it says Local Time Damage Control starts at 8:30 a.m. And it's also important to note that this is server local time. So wherever this server is hosted, in this server's case, this server is hosted in Dallas, Texas. So that's 8:30 a.m. Dallas, Texas time. And then local time damage control remains on for 480 minutes. This of course can be changed in the config, which we're going to go look at right now. And this is the default configuration. So as you can see, it's very simple. You just determine at what time you want your protection to turn on automatically and for how long you want it to last for. Now, one important detail that I did come across when I was testing this plugin out, it's important to note that this plugin will not cover over the midnight hour. So let's say you started your protection time to start at 11 p.m. local server time, and you wanted it to last for 2 hours. That would technically take it to 1 a.m. local server time. As soon as it hits that 12 o'clock mark, it does not work. The plugin basically breaks and stops working altogether. So just make sure you set it so that your start time and your duration time all fits inside of a 24-hour period starting from 000 to 23:59. I hope that makes sense. Don't try to cross over the midnight mark going from one day into the next day. The plugin will just simply freak out and it won't work. It took us quite a while to actually figure out what was going on with the plugin. Okay, so I've just gone through and made a couple of changes to my config file because I need to make this work for the time that I'm working on this video. So it's currently 5:26 p.m. where I am, but it's actually 7:26 p.m. where the server is actually hosted. So I'm going to make it so that my protection time starts at 7 p.m. local time and it lasts for 120 minutes or 2 hours. And I just need to save that file. As you can see by my console there, it's reporting back saying that the protection time is going to start at 7 p.m. local time and it's going to last for 120 minutes. So basically what that means is nobody can do any damage to anybody else's base for that 2-hour period starting at 7 p.m. Now, obviously you might want to make your time frames just a little bit different. I just did this for testing purposes so that I can show you exactly what's happening in the server. So let's go in game real quick and I'll show you how the plugin responds when you're trying to do damage to somebody else's base during this time period. So a special shout out goes out to Raging Shrink. He's a member from my Discord. I asked him to come into my test server and build me a couple of bases so that I could test this for you guys, because this will not work if you're testing this on your own base. You can inflict damage on your own base even though it's inside of this protection time. So thank you to Raging Shrink. Okay, so as you can see, when I go up to Raging Shrink's base and just cause a small amount of damage, it says you cannot damage during between 1700 and 1 a.m. Now, I understand that this does not line up with what I said I did in my config, but I went back and made some changes. I increased the length of time. So I know that it's saying that it'll cross over the midnight hour, but I don't actually believe that's going to work. I'm actually going to check right now and see when the latest update was on that plugin. Okay, so I just checked to make sure that they didn't actually update the plugin and I missed it. And no, there's been no updates made to this plugin in the last 6 months. And I know that the test that I was doing where I found the problem crossing over the midnight hour was within 6 months. So I know that that's not something that has changed, so you don't have to worry about that. Just trust me when I say don't try to allow it to cross over the midnight hour and expect it to still work, because it won't. So anyways, that's what it looks like. So whenever you try to cause damage to a base, when you're inside of your protection time, it obviously doesn't do any damage to the base, and it gives you a little warning in chat saying that you can't cause damage during these times. So it is doing exactly what we want it to do. Of course, there's a couple of commands that we need to know about this plugin. There's also one permission that we need to address. So basically what happens is you can set all of your parameters from inside the config, and then you don't have to worry about chat commands, and you definitely don't have to worry about any permissions. But as an admin of your server, if you want to be able to manually control this stuff, you will have to grant yourself that permission. And once you have that permission, you can of course then make these changes that will be reflected on your config. So the permission of course is LocalTimeDamageControl.admin. And you guys know me by now, I don't do anything manually. I only use permission managers. And in this case, I'm using admin panel from Chaos Code. So we'll go into permissions. We'll go into group permissions, we'll go into the admin category, and then we can turn on LocalTimeDamageControl.admin, which will then give me and my character the ability to make these changes using chat commands as well. If we just do /lset, it's going to give you all of the different commands that are available to you. So we can change the start time, we can change the duration time, but most importantly, we can manually turn this on and off. So if for whatever reason you're inside of your protection time and you want to turn that protection off, you can just do lset off. And of course, vice versa, you're outside of that protection time, you can manually turn protection on. So why am I pointing this out to you? Well, if you want to change it so that you're not actually using the built-in timer inside the plugin, then you can use an external plugin to control these features. A plugin such as Time to Execute, where you can manually turn these protections on and off at varying different times throughout the day. And there's a multitude of different reasons why you might want to be able to do that. But just so that you know, this plugin does have the capability of being controlled by Time to Execute, which opens up a whole different world of different options that you could do with this plugin. Let's say you only wanted people to be able to raid on your server every other hour instead of 24 hours a day. Well, you could use Time to Execute to trigger that feature on for an hour and then off for an hour, back on for an hour, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, the possibilities are out there. Use your imagination, figure out how this plugin might work for your server. And of course, this plugin was brought to my attention by a viewer, and he was struggling with it. He couldn't figure out how to make it work. And the problem that we ran into is that he was trying to cross over that midnight hour. And normally right here, I would do a shout out for that viewer to show my appreciation for that viewer suggesting to me that I do a video on this. Unfortunately, it was so long ago that I forget who it was. So if it was you and I neglected to remember your name, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below and let me know who this was. I appreciated the opportunity to help you out. I also appreciated the suggestion for the video tutorial. So of course, if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. I do my very best to get to each and every one of them. And of course, because YouTube works the way that it works, sometimes some of those comments get missed. And I apologize in advance for that. It's just the nature of the beast. One place where your comments will never get missed though is in the Discord. So make sure you check that out. Like I said before, link is right above me. It's also in the video description down below. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed Local Time Damage Controller by Carney66, available from the Umod website. If you guys liked the video, you know what to do. Smash that like button for me. And of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. As you can see by my little dealio right here, we've got just over 4,000 subscribers on the channel, which is huge for me. I never would have guessed that it would have grown to this size, but I definitely couldn't have done it without you guys. So again, I thank you. Okay, that's it for me. You guys stay safe out there, take care of each other, and I'll see you guys again next Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.